What's going on, everybody? This is like my third try at this video because I keep going over time. But this is going to be a deck tech for my very first commander deck. In the background, just a few of the next ones I have coming up. But this is my very first commander deck. I'm just going to go over it as quick as I can without blabbing too much about some of my favorite cards. I try to get as in-depth as I can in the 10-minute window. But 100 cards makes that kind of hard when I really like almost every card in this deck, and I know the reason it's in here. But the commander is Sovereign Okinec Ahau. This is a Selesnya +1/+1 counter deck. It is a 3/4 for 4 War 2 when it attacks for each creature I control power greater than the creature's base power, put a number of 1/1 counters on that creature equal to the difference. So basically try to pump dudes as much as I can before combat, go to combat, get him to swing, and get everyone getting bigger and bigger and bigger every turn. I don't have the right amount of protection in this deck to keep that going reliably, but when this does pop off, it gets out of hand very quick. One of the cards I am looking for to add to this deck is Ouroboros. It's like a $50 or $60 card from Edge of Eternities, but it would help this deck immensely. It's just down the line, and I don't have the money at the moment. But some of the past commanders I've had for this deck are still in the deck. Karametra, whenever I cast a creature spell, I can then search for a land, so good little ramp. Hamza, cost less for each creature I control 1 with a counter on it, and creatures cost less for each creature I control 1 with a counter on it. So if he's out, it kind of just makes spells cost less as they get bigger, which is very nice. Futzel, opponents can't cast spells during my turn, helps keep him out, especially during combat. Whenever one or more creatures I control power greater than his power deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Then the Nor, this was the first or second commander I had for the deck. Trailasara was another one, and Lothiel something or other, but they were both life gain, and I don't want this to be a life gain and +1/+1 counters deck. I kind of more focus on the +1/+1 counters, and I think that's helped immensely. But she's one of the ones I really like. I love the art on this card. Again, beginning of combat, put a 1/1 counter on one target creature, then if I control 3 or more creatures with different powers, draw a card. So good card draw, but I think I really just keep this card in here because it's one of the first ones I had for the deck, and it's just beautiful art. I really like the art on this card. But yeah, those were the past commanders that are still around in the deck, and I can't seem to take them out. So I'm going to start with the creatures. Well, actually, let's knock out the lands. I don't have many that synergize too much because there's not really many, but this one I can pay 4, put a 1/1 counter on each creature. I deal at Grange when enters untapped, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Commands our Rogue's Passage, makes target creature can't be blocked. Oran Reef, the Vastwood, put a 1/1 counter on each green creature that enters the battlefield this turn. So a good way to just kind of pump stuff immediately. Have 1 fetch, several duels, but then I have 8 plains and 15 forests, because it is mostly a green deck. I want to do the creatures now. Quilt Great Worm. Whenever a creature I control deals combat damage during my turn, put that any 1/1 counters on it. So if I hit people, I don't even think it has to be players. I think it just has to deal combat damage in general. They get bigger based on that much damage. And then I can cast this card from my graveyard by removing 6 counters from along anything I control. Very easy to get 6 counters on stuff, so just a good, crazy cards that can get out of hand. Yorbo enters with 4 1/1 counters, so automatically he's going to get +4 the first attack, and as he gets out of hand very quick if left alone. Machias the Lunarch, I can pay X, like, I realistically want to pay just 2 in a white, so I can put 2 1/1 counters on him. Comes in, then tap him immediately if I have creatures on board. Remove a 1/1 counter on him, get 1/1s on everything, and then obviously it cuts an all attack. I'll re-add that counter. Just a good dude to have in the deck. Patrol and Peacemaker, whenever an opponent commits a crime, they just target anything I do. Proliferate, so good to throw counters. Creatures with counters have first strike. Creatures with counters can tap for green. I can pay to give creatures trample and lifelink. I don't really see any other reason she's in this deck, and I don't know why I haven't taken her out other than... Yeah, I don't know. She's one that I just keep forgetting about to remove. Creatures have flying if they have counters. as long as I control my commander, he gets +2/+2, and then other creatures, including my commander, obviously, we have +2/+2 and I have trample, so just a good little anthem that gets his counters going. Sapandrel, very, very crazy card. Beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature I control. Again, he doesn't care about necessarily counters on creatures to get his +1/+1 counters going, just their power difference between their base power. I was struggling to find the words there. So, being a combat, he would become an 8/8, an 8/12. Sorry, he would see that, and then add 4 1/1 counters to him. So, yeah, it's a crazy card. I love Sapandrel. Grand Abolisher. Opponents can't cast spell for activate abilities during my turn. Will Lift Leech, a good little anthem, gives +1/+1 for a green or white, so get Putzel +2/+2. Cosmogrand Zenith, whenever I cast my second spell, put a 1/1 counter on each creature. I'd rarely use the create soldiers, depending on everyone else's board state, but I'm mainly focusing on the counters. Doski, the creature I control does combat damage to the player. Card draw. Green and white, there's not really many card draw spells, so I try to stick some in where I can. Whenever I attack, creatures I control counters gain double strike. Chenika Brawler, whenever something gets a 1/1 counter, he's gonna get a 1/1 counter. Dustshell Trawler, each creature with a counter on it has trample. Whenever he attacks, put a 1/1 counter on each creature I control with the 1/1 counter on it, which basically I'm always attacking with everything, so everything's gonna get bigger. Limonarch Aspirant, put a 1/1 counter on entire creature I control, beginning a combat. So just to get the stuff going, Llanowar Elves, obviously I have to throw it in. Kalia, another one. Again, it's just card draw, but I don't really use her that much, because I think 5 for her ability is kind of just mid compared to some of the other ones in here. Guy's Revenge can't be countered unless it's a green spell, so very hard to deal with this guy. Champion of Lamphole, I want to get her as big as I can so everything's unblockable, basically. This is twice, is it? No, this adds a distal counter whenever a counter's put on something. Intrepid Adversary, just a quick pump. Creature spells can't be countered, combat damage can't be prevented. Some token generation, and then Loyal Guardian to give creatures +1/+1 at the beginning of combat. Got some ramp stuff, Germination Practicum. Put 2 1/1 counters on each creature, then after I've cast it, every turn I get to do this without paying mana. Spins a Colonia, 1/1 counter, then double it. Wreck Raid, put 1/1 counter on each creature. Just only board wipe in the deck, destroy all creatures with no counters on them, so hopefully a one-sided board wipe. Gift of the Viper adds counter, reach, and death touch, and then I get to untap something, so a good quick protect, and hopefully destroy something very scary. Beast Within, good removal spell. Ruinous Intrusion, destroy exile, artifact, or enchantment, and then adds counters based on its mana value. Removal, Spire Call, draw a card for each creature I control the counter on it, so hopefully several cards, and then they gain indestructible. Snakeskin gives something hexproof and a counter. Removal, Boss and Maneuver, creatures I control gain indestructible until end of turn. Ride the Shoe Puff, whenever a land I control enters, put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Token or a counter doubler. Put a 1/1 counter on enchanted creature, beginning of turn. Card draw when I add counters. An additional counter whenever I add a counter. Double in season, counter doubler, obviously. Load and zone, another counter doubler. Tail of Catan and Tough. Whenever a creature comes from tapped during the first time, each of my turns put the counter on it. Felidar Retreat, Landfall, counter on each creature, they gain vigilance. Lantham of Champions, quick pump, again, he doesn't need a counters at first, just have them bigger to get the counters, so get a little enchantment. Primeval Bounty, good. Counters when I cast non-creature spells. It gives other permanents I control have hexproof. Nature's Will, deal combat damage to a player, taps all lands they control, I untap everything. The Ooze, when a creature I control counters on and dies, I get that many muters and tokens based on the number of counters, so a very good way to get those counters back. If my board has 30 or more counters on it, 10 damage to each opponent, every turn. Earth Crystal, counter doubler, and cost reducer for green spells, and then obviously Soul Ring. So I know this went really fast, I'm going to get better at this hopefully. But yeah, that's my first deck tech for my first commander.